At the beginning of the story, we're introduced to a soldier named Ray Francis who's heading back to his hometown after leaving the army so he can marry his girlfriend, Kelly. At the same time, Kelly is sitting in a park reading a book when Ray suddenly sneaks up behind her and surprises her. He takes out a ring and proposes to her, and after a shy smile, Kelly happily says yes. Ray and Kelly start walking back to the car, but Kelly suddenly remembers she left the book she was reading on a park bench. Ray asks her to wait by the car while he quickly goes back to get it. Neither of them realizes their perfect day is about to fall apart. Just then, a luxury car pulls up with two young men inside. One of them, Tim, starts harassing Kelly. Ray and Kelly ignore them and try to leave, but Tim gets out of the car and walks right up to Kelly's window, continuing to bother her. Ray finally reaches the point where he can't hold back anymore. Seeing what's happening, Ray loses his temper and starts fighting both men. During the struggle, Tim pulls out a knife and tries to stab Ray. Ray instinctively shoves him away to protect himself, and in the process, Tim accidentally drives the knife into himself. He dies at the scene. One split-second decision changes all of their lives forever. After the incident, Ray and Kelly meet with Ray's attorney because Ray has been charged with murder. The attorney tells Ray he has two difficult choices. First, if he pleads guilty in court, he'll likely receive a prison sentence of 2 to 3 years. The attorney then tells him he believes he can get that sentence reduced to just 18 months. Every option in front of Ray leads straight to a prison cell. The attorney also explains that if Ray refuses to plead guilty and takes the case to trial, he could be sentenced to anywhere from 5 to 8 years in prison. He makes it clear that there's no possible way for Ray to avoid serving time. In the end, Ray decides to plead guilty in court and accept the 18-month sentence. The decision is made, but its consequences are only beginning. The scene then shifts to Thompson, who can't come to terms with the death of his son. Thompson is an extremely wealthy man, so he sends his people to investigate Ray. Through them, he learns which prison Ray is being transferred to. The prison is run by a man named Jack Morrison. Thompson goes to meet Jack in person, hands him a large amount of cash, and tells him that Ray must never leave that prison alive. From that moment on, Ray's fate is quietly being bought. On the other side, a group of new inmates arrives at the prison to begin serving their sentences, and Ray is among them. An older correctional officer named Rico orders every new inmate to remove all of their clothes for a security search. When Rico forces one inmate to take off his underwear, Ray objects to the way he's being treated. From that very first day, Rico begins making Ray's life inside the prison a living hell. One act of defiance instantly puts a target on Ray's back. A short time later, a correctional officer named William escorts Ray to meet the prison warden, Jack Morrison. During their conversation, Jack learns that Ray served in the army for 12 years, so he tries to treat him with respect. Jack even tells the guards to treat Ray well. After the meeting, William starts taking Ray back to his cell, but along the way, Ray accidentally bumps into another inmate who immediately picks a fight with him. The tension inside the prison keeps rising with every passing minute. Before the fight can get any worse, another inmate named Mosan steps in with his group to help Ray. The two groups are just about to clash when William arrives and orders everyone back to work. William assigns Ray to work in the prison library, where an inmate named David shows him where the books belong. Later, as Ray leaves the library and heads back toward his cell, on his way back, a few members of the same group start harassing Ray again, but he keeps his temper under control. Later, while he's sitting in his cell reading a journal, Rico suddenly shows up with a couple of other correctional officers to search the room. During the search, Rico finds a photo of Kelly inside Ray's journal. Just to humiliate him, Rico licks the picture right in front of Ray. Furious, Ray lunges at him, but two officers named Fox and Victor immediately grab and restrain him. Rico keeps pushing, determined to break Ray's self-control completely. To provoke Ray even more, Rico tears Kelly's photo into pieces. He then orders Ray to take off his clothes and starts slapping him to intimidate him. Just as Rico is about to hit Ray in the head with his baton, Victor steps in and stops him. Even inside the prison, someone still refuses to cross the line. The next day, while Ray is taking a shower, a huge inmate named Hammer walks over and orders him to bend over so he can sexually assault him. Ray responds with a hard punch that sends Hammer crashing backward. Rico immediately arrives and takes Ray to Jack Morrison's office. Ray tries to explain that he was only defending himself, but Jack tells him that's just how things work inside the prison. When Ray continues arguing, Rico and Fox start beating him all over again. Ray quickly learns that justice doesn't exist behind these prison walls. Victor steps in once again and stops them, warning that they'll kill Ray if they keep beating him. Later, during lunch, Ray sits down with two other inmates, Zed and David. While talking with David, Ray notices the same inmate he fought with on on his first day in prison. After lunch, Ray and David return to the library and begin shelving books together. A quiet conversation reveals a secret worth far more than freedom itself. David tells Ray that he'll never make it out of prison because 15 years earlier, he and his brother robbed an armored truck carrying cash. During the robbery, 2 security guards and a police officer were killed. David's brother also died during the heist, and the stolen money was never recovered. David admits that he's the only person who knows where the money is hidden. Some secrets become even more valuable after 15 years of silence. While they're talking, Rico suddenly walks in and tells Ray that his girlfriend is there to see him. Seeing Kelly again makes Ray smile for the first time in a long while. They only get a few moments to talk before Rico cuts the visit short and orders Ray to leave. Later, Ray joins Mosan and his crew for a card game. At the same time, Zed is working out when Hammer starts harassing him. Just as Hammer is about to smash him with a dumbbell, Ray rushes in and starts fighting Hammer. William arrives moments later and breaks up the fight. Ray refuses to stand by whenever someone weaker is being attacked. One day, while Ray is cleaning the prison restroom, the same inmate he fought at the beginning of his sentence comes looking for revenge. The man attacks him, but Ray defeats him badly in the fight. This time, Jack Morrison arrives with Rico. Jack is the one who bribed the guards to torture Ray, but Victor finally tells Rico and Fox that he wants no part of it anymore. He also warns them that he'll take the entire matter to court. Victor's decision puts him directly in the path of deadly consequences. After Victor walks away, William, the supervising correctional officer, arrives. He has no idea what was being discussed behind his back, but he scolds Rico and Fox because he assigned Ray to work in the library. William makes it clear that from now on, they are not to make any decisions without his approval. The cracks inside their conspiracy are starting to grow wider. Later, Rico and Fox go to Jack and tell him that Victor has refused to cooperate and is threatening to ruin their plans. Jack gives them a simple order: get rid of Victor. After that, Rico and Fox search another inmate's cell and find a homemade shank hidden inside his bunk. They force the inmate to kneel and apologize. The following day, while that same inmate is cleaning the restroom, he discovers Victor's dead body and is horrified. The prison has become even more dangerous than anyone imagined. It was obvious that this was a carefully planned murder. Rico and Fox quickly arrived at the scene and pinned the murder on the inmate whose homemade shank they had supposedly found earlier. Meanwhile, Ray asks David about Mosan, and David explains that Mosan is a major player who runs a drug operation inside the prison through his gang. A few members of Mosan's crew overhear their conversation, walk over, and warn Ray to be careful about which gang he chooses because another prison gang has already turned against him. Every move inside the prison now carries deadly consequences for Ray. The next morning, while Ray and David are showering, Mosan's gang storms in and stabs the inmate who had harassed Ray earlier in the restroom. Since Ray is immediately blamed for the murder, he goes straight to the rival gang and tells them that Mosan's crew is actually responsible. The rival gang believes him. At the same time, Hammer drags Zed into a room and sexually assaults him. The violence keeps spreading until no one inside remains untouched anymore. A few days later, Kelly comes back to visit Ray. During the visit, Fox and Rico begin harassing her and order her to take off her clothes under the excuse of a security search. With no choice, Kelly is forced to comply. Later, Rico tells Ray exactly what they made Kelly do. Ray is consumed with rage toward both of them, but there's absolutely nothing he can do. The helpless anger burns deeper than any physical pain ever could. This time, Zed fights back with everything he has and kills Hammer. Around the same time, Ray is summoned to Mosan's cell. Mosan is furious because Ray refused to join his gang. Later, while Ray is sitting with David, Rico and Fox take him to a prison workshop because Mosan ordered them to. Once there, Mosan threatens to kill Ray, David, and Kelly. Ray finally reaches the point where he refuses to stay silent anymore. Unable to control himself any longer, Ray attacks Rico and Fox. Because of what he did, he's thrown into a dark, isolated cell. As soon as William finds out, he goes straight to Jack Morrison's office and demands to know why he ordered Fox and Rico to take Ray to the workshop. Jack coldly reminds William that he's the one running the prison and can do whatever he wants. The isolation cell slowly strips away everything that makes Ray human. Inside the cell, Ray is treated worse than an animal and gradually begins losing his mind. After spending several months there, William finally comes to release him. Like Ray, William is a true soldier, and he tries to find out why everyone is treating him so brutally. But Ray refuses to tell him anything because he no longer trusts anyone. After Ray recovers, Mosan still wants revenge, so he orders Zed to stab Ray. Mosan refuses to let Ray escape the war he started inside prison. Because Ray stood by Zed during his darkest moments, Zed refuses to stab him. Furious over the betrayal, Mosan kills Zed himself. As soon as Ray learns about Zed's death, he can no longer control his emotions and marches straight toward Mosan's gang. After taking down one of Mosan's men, Ray challenges Mosan to a fight fight, and members of the rival gang step forward to support him. From his office window, Jack watches everything unfold and orders Rico and Fox to let the fight continue instead of stopping it. Years of military training finally give Ray the upper hand in battle. Ray easily overpowers Mosan and eventually locks him in a chokehold just seconds away from killing him. Then he notices David signaling him not to do it, so Ray lets Mosan go. But a knife suddenly lands beside Mosan. He grabs it and tries to stab Ray from behind. David jumps in front of the blade to save Ray, and at that exact moment, the rival gang's leader kills Mosan. One life is sacrificed, so another can finally survive the nightmare. Afterward, Ray is called into Jack Morrison's office. Jack tells him that his prison sentence has been extended. Ray fires back, saying Jack would even sell his own mother for money. Enraged, Jack finally reveals the truth. He admits that Thompson paid him a huge amount of money to make sure Ray never got out of prison, and that's why he's been putting Ray through hell all this time. At last, the truth behind every nightmare is finally exposed. After that, Ray pulls out the cell phone he had been secretly hiding, the same phone that had already been connected to William the entire time. Jack's confession had now been saved on the call recording. The truth had finally surfaced, and there was no turning back now. At that moment, William walks into Jack's office with his team. The second Jack sees them, he realizes the whole thing was a setup to expose him. Jack is immediately placed under arrest, and Rico and Fox are arrested right along with him for their involvement. Years of corruption collapsed in just a few unforgettable moments together. After everything is finally over, Ray goes to the hospital to visit David, who is still alive. David tells Ray where the money he stole 15 years earlier is hidden and asks him to take it and start a new, happy life. He also tells Ray that he misses his daughter more than anything and asks Ray to give one of the bags of cash to her. Ray is finally released from prison. As he walks out through the gates, William shakes his hand. Outside, Kelly is overjoyed to see him and warmly welcomes him home. Freedom finally arrived after every impossible hardship Ray had endured inside prison. A few days later, Ray visits David's daughter and hands her a bag filled with cash, telling her that her father misses her deeply and that she should go visit him. On the other side, William is seen welcoming a new group of inmates into the prison and ordering them to put on their prison uniforms. Among those new inmates is Tim's father, Thompson, the man responsible for bribing Jack and setting all of these events into motion. Some scars don't stay on the body, they stay in the silence that follows survival. If stories like this stay with you long after they're over, subscribe to KTS Mosan because some battles never truly end.